All right, folks, it's time for some two-step equations. I hope you've been doing well with one step, and we're going to add in a little something extra today. So, again, we are going to focus on dealing with the variable. We want that variable by itself. Whatever the letter is by itself. So, before we can deal with this section, this 4x, we have to deal with this 16. Remember, we want to keep equations balanced. So, what we do to one side, we do to the other. So, and we always do the opposite. So if this is a positive 16, we're going to subtract 16. And when I say one side and the other, we're talking about on the left side of the equal side and the right side of the equal side. So I'm going to subtract 16 from both sides. So I'm left, that cancels out. I don't have to worry about it anymore. I'm left with 4x. I'm left with equals, and then 48 minus 16. If you can't do that in your head, you can punch it in the calculator. And then you can divide both sides by 4, because 4 times x, the opposite of multiplying, is dividing. That's why we're dividing both sides. So we took that 2-step down to 1 step, and now we're left with just x equals. So if you do 32 divided by 4, you should know that in your head, but if you're having a Monday kind of day and you do 32 divided by 4, you're left with 8. Now the nice thing about these equations is you can always check them. If we go back up there at the top where it says 4 times x, with x is 8, we can do 4 times 8, and then plus 16. And we hope that it gives us 48. And as long as it gives us 48, we know that we're right. So if you do 32 times, excuse me, I told you the answer, 40, Lord, have mercy, I can't talk. 4 times 8 is 32, plus 16. That does give us 48. So this is 48, and it equals 48, so we know that we got it right. That's the good thing with equations. You can always check them. All right, on this one, again, we want that w by itself. So this is a minus 20 or a negative 20. Either way you want to look at it. So to deal with a negative 20 or a minus 20, we need to add 20 to both sides. What we do to one side, we do to the other. So a negative 20 and a positive 20 equals 0. So we've canceled that out. So we've got 5w equals 75 plus 20 is going to be 95. And if it's 5 times w, the opposite of multiplying is dividing. Now some of you can probably do that in your head. Some of you might not. But we got 95 divided by 5. Keep the calculator handy. It makes it a little easier. And w equals 19. Again, we can go back and check it. 5w, which is going to be 5 times 19, and then minus 20. We hope that it gives us that 75. So if you do 5 times 19, I'm not going to work it all the way out this time, and then minus that 20, it does give us 75, so we know we got it right. Okay, keep on rolling. All right, this time the variable is still a 2c, still a variable to deal with, but it's in a different place in our equation. So we have to deal with this minus 12. If it's a minus 12, we need to add 12. And what we do to one side, we have to jump across that equal sign and do to the other. So that a negative 12 and a positive 12 is 0. So we got that canceled out. We've got 2c. I'm waiting for I'm talking and it's not writing in the same rate I'm talking. So then we've got 94 when we add those two up. So if it's 2 times c, the opposite of multiplying is dividing, and we're going to divide both sides by 2. So all we do is punch in exactly what we see, 94 divided by 2, and that gives us 47. And again, we can punch that in and solve it. So we got a negative 12. We're writing it down what we see, plus, if I do 2 times, I said that c was 47, okay? And I hope that gives me 82. So I got negative 12 plus, if I double check this, 47 times 2, I get 94. All right, so I'm going to punch this in like I see it. Remember, you got to hit 12 and then hit the negative button. So 12 negative, we got a negative 12 plus 94. And that gives us our 82. So we know that we got it. We know we got it right. All right, now this one is a little bit different. We got a division and we've got addition. So to deal with that addition first, we're going to subtract 2. That cancels out because 2 minus 2 is 0. That's n divided by 7. So n divided by 7 equals 10. The opposite of dividing would be multiplying. So we're going to multiply both sides by 7. That cancels out, and n equals 70. So if we check it, we would have 70 divided by 7, because we replace that n with that 70, plus 2 equals 12. So 70 divided by 7 is going to give us 10, and 10 plus 2, that does give us that 12. So we know we got it right. So you should be able to check every problem and know whether you have it right or not. All right, this one's just a little bit different. A positive 6. We know we've got to deal with that first, so we're going to subtract 6. A positive 6 and a negative 6 cancels out. This time we're left with a negative 3r equals 24 minus 6. I believe that is 18. We have to divide by, we can't have a negative variable, so we need to divide by negative 3. Because a negative divided by a negative is positive, and we want to keep this r, keep that variable, whatever it is positive. So 18 divided by negative 3 is going to be negative 6. So if we check it, we got negative 3 times negative 6 and then plus 6. Okay? I hope that gives me 24. I'm going to punch in, or we should know in our head, if we do 3, make it negative, times 6, make it negative. We know a negative times a negative is a positive. It does give us positive 18 plus 6, and that 18 plus 6 does give us that 24 that we wanted, so we know that we got it right. Okay, this time we've got to deal with that negative 4. So when we deal with a negative 4, we need to add 4. That cancels out. Now here's where a lot of people mess up. That's not just a 6g, that is a negative 6g. If you want to do that whole keep, change, and it's plus a negative or whatever, but we need to make sure we're paying attention. That negative goes with that 6. So we got negative 6g equals 30. Again, we want to divide by, if it's a negative 6 times g, then we need to divide by negative 6. And g equals negative 5. So if we got a negative 4, and remember this is telling us that that 6 is negative and that 5 is negative. And a lot of people get confused. That's really a negative 6 times negative 5. Remember earlier we did that keep, change, and that might help you to see it. So this part right here is really a positive 30. So we got negative 4 plus 30, and then that does give us a 26. So we know we got it right. Now so far I left all of them giving us a nice little whole number at the end, but it's not going to always work out that way. If it's a minus 8, I'm going to add 8. So 3w equals 12 plus 8, which gives us 20. So if it's 3 times w, we're going to divide both sides by 3. W equals 20 divided by 3. So you could write that 6.6 with a bar notation. Or if you remember, you hit second and then that back arrow key, that is also 6 2/3. So you can't put 6 with a bar notation in your calculator. So to get it to work out correctly, you would need to type it in. The calculator is a 6 2/3. So when we were checking it. So 3 times, and I'm going to put 6 2/3, and then minus 8. And I hope and pray that gives me 12. If it doesn't give me 12, that just means I need to try again because I did something wrong. I made a careless mistake somewhere. So if we punch this in 3 times, and then 6 ABC 2 ABC 3 and hit equals, that gives us 20. And then 20 minus 8 is going to give us that 12 that we're looking for. So we know we got it right. So just if the answer is not a pretty little whole number, that doesn't mean it's wrong. You can still check it. We're going to be working on these for a long time, so I hope you like them. I hope you get good at them. If you have any questions, text me, email me. I will be glad to help you.